Hello boys and girls, today we will take a closer look at this incredibly elegant module called Black OCTASOURCE by a well-known company, ERICA SYNTHS. As the name implies, this is a modulation source that offers 8 simultaneous outputs that are arranged in this circle, as you can see right here. All the outputs, 1 from 8. And as you can also see, we have some LEDs accompanying each of the outputs that show the activity of the output, and just looks simply ace. The module is really simple to operate, but it has some really nice options that make it a true modulation source mayhem, which I'll show you in a second. Now, a few words about the patch that I have going on here. What you can see here is the audio source, which is very nice new wavetable oscillator by a new company, Livestock Electronics, called Bang, which I will review and describe in the next installment. This one goes to the trusty, crazy Belgrade filter by Chaos Devices, and I also have here a nifty, beautiful quantizer by Tip Top Audio, which I will also describe in one of the next episodes. Let's take a look at the module itself and see what it can do and how it works. Above all of the outputs is the main knob, which is a rate knob. As you can expect, you can see when I turn it right, it speeds up. When I turn it left, it just goes backwards. Nice. But there's one more thing to it. When it's at the noon position, it just freezes, which is very nice because you can freeze the current modulation that appears on the outputs. Now, the next important parameter to look for is the wave parameter that works in conjunction with the mode switch, multi-mode and single mode. We have 2 modes of operation on this module. Now, the basic mode is the single mode. In this mode, you choose one of the 8 waveforms with this parameter, right there, wave. So you have the standard waves, triangle, and so on, up until sample and hold here. The nice thing about this parameter is that you are not only getting the basic waveforms, but you are also getting all of the morphed, so to speak, forms in between those shapes. So that is really nice. And in this mode, in single mode, the wave you choose is the same for all the outputs. So each of these outputs has the wave that you choose with this parameter. Now the real fun begins when you switch to the multi-mode. In this mode, you have each of these 8 shapes on different outputs. So each output has a different shape. For instance, you can have sine here, the next shape here, the next shape here, and so on and so forth. And in this case, the wave parameter changes its function. It shifts the order of the waves appearing on each of the outputs. So for example, if you have a sine wave and a triangle here, you can shift the order and you can have the sine here and triangle here, and so forth and so on. So you're offsetting the order of the wave shapes appearing on the outputs. Besides that, you also have FM input for modulating the rate knob and accompanying attenuator right here. You also have a CV input for controlling the wave shapes. You have also a phase CV input, and this is really interesting one because each of the outputs is offset by 45 degrees. With this modulation destination, you can manipulate each of these windows 45 degrees shift. And besides that, if you apply a negative voltage in here, this causes all of the outputs to output the modulation at the same time. So all of these things light up simultaneously. I will present it to you later. And on top of that, this module could be also unipolar because as a default, it is set to a bipolar source, but you can also use that as a unipolar source. So all those lights will be red instead of being red and green and so on. Let's put this module into work and let's just connect one of the modulation inputs. We are in the single mode right now, so I can switch the shapes, as you can hear. Different tempo, also a different direction and tempo, and I can freeze it in the null position. Okay. Now I can connect a second modulation to the bang, to the even parameter, and you can already hear there are some nice things happening here. Okay. Again, speed it up, slow it down. Now I can change to the multi-mode, and I get different wave here and a different wave here. And I can change the order. You can hear it has different shapes. Okay. Now let's connect a third modulation source. That adds some additional movement to the whole patch. Okay. Now I can synchronize this whole patch. In my case, it is going to be a square wave out of Batumi. And in this case, the rate knob serves as a multiplier or divider. Faster, slower. I can also apply some FM modulation, taken also from the trusty Batumi LFO. Let's stick it in here. And here is the attenuator for it. You can hear it speeding up and slowing down. So it gets even more interesting. Now, just for fun, let's stick some modulation source from Batumi to the wave in the multi mode. Okay, more fun. Now, as you can see, I have only used 3 outputs from the OCTASOURCE. What if I connect the modulation outputs to Belgrade filter? I have modulated the 1 volt per octave input on Belgrade, also the span and resonance. Let's put it to single again. We can try to modulate the phase on it. Now, we can also use one of the outputs to modulate 1 volt per octave input on bang, and let's use the quantizer for it. I'm connecting output of LFO to quantizer in here, and the output of quantizer will be connected to volt per octave on bang. How is that for crazy? You can slow it down, turn it upside down. Now I'm going to show you the feature that I told you about previously, which is the phase modulation. As you can hear right now, we're still modulating the patch, and now I'm playing with the phase, but when I apply a maximum negative voltage, you can see it all lights up at the same time, simultaneously, so it gives a different modulation. So here I'm modulating it in the standard mode and here with negative voltage. So this is really cool, okay? If you would like to switch to the unipolar mode, you have to go to the noon position and preferably turn off all the modulation. It is frozen right now. Let's go to the noon position and switch it at least 6 times. Okay, so as you can see right now, it's all red, so it's more suitable for operating with modulation destinations like, for example, 1 volt per octave. So as you can hear and as you can see, it's one crazy module. I can't recommend it enough. It's so much fun. It's so easy to use, like no other module. And for me, what makes this module super special is the multi-mode with different waves on different outputs. This combined with phase modulation and wave parameter modulation gives you insane possibilities within the modulation domain. So do yourself a favor and definitely demo this thing. Give it a try, give it a ride, give it a spin. You won't regret it. Thank you very much. As you can hear, I'm getting some crazy, interesting things right here. So I'll be ending this review as I do not want to lose that. Alright. Bye-bye. Take care.